have pricing of a fire station, a 4-bay fire station. You know, I don't know if it's to your design. I was supposed to expect it's probably not, but turnkey, we're looking at $300,000 to $400,000 for a 4-bay fire station, and that's with living quarters and 4 bays. My job here is to present it to you all. You all take it and run with it if you want it. You know, I'll be more than happy to pass along the contacts or what the numbers are. And I don't want to do it in a public sitting, but Mr. Mayor, I'll be more than happy to pass that on to you. That may fill in. I know it might not be what we want, but we do need a station, and we can live. We can financially take care of $300,000 or $400,000 as opposed to, you know, the other fire station. I know those guys need it. I want to see them have it, and I would love to see it there on First Street where all this traffic is going by there. To look at a very nice, if that's where you all are planning to have it still, but look at a very nice station that we all can afford. Besides that, I mean, it was very hard to come here tonight and stand in this podium. I was trying to find any reason I could not to do it, but really I couldn't sleep thinking about this. So I wanted to share it with you. And also I left in my notes here though, CLGW, the same company that I contacted, they just built a 4-bay. It was a 48 by 66. 48 foot by 66 foot. It's 4 bays for their trucks. 6-inch pour, concrete reinforced for the heavier load. They spent $97,000 on that. So, you know, if we have to, I would throw out there, maybe we build in sections. We build what we can afford now and build it and have plenty of room designed on the lots to where we can add to it and fill what our wants or needs may be at that time. So, like I said, I'm just offering this to you, and I probably won't see you all unless it's out in the public here for a good while. But I do like what you've all done in place. It looks nice, and appreciate it, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. We appreciate your input as all citizens of the community. We try to represent everybody, not any one person or one segment of the community. And the more input the council gets, the more informed decisions they can make when it comes to decision time. So, thank you very much.
We have more input tonight than we did from the 2 public hearings we held on it.
I'd like to say at this point, and this is up to the council, but it's not a dead issue. The needs are still there. And I emphasize that to what people I could talk to during the campaign. That list of things that I was carrying around, it was a needs list, it was not a wish list. These are things that the community needs, have needed for a number of years, and because the tax issue failed at the ballot, didn't mean the needs went away, they're still there. So it'll be up to this group to address it in the smartest way they can figure it out. Anyone else need to comment?
I need to comment. I have a question for Randy. When is the decision going to be made on the sidewalk from the state?
It'll be announced, my understanding, and it's been a while since I read it, it's supposed to be the first week of January, but it's my understanding that the selection committee will probably meet next week.
Will we have our meeting before that meeting?
I don't know what date that would be.
Okay. We need to be prepared to modify the street committee meeting according to those needs then. So if that meeting is afterwards, then we'll leave it for Tuesday, but if not, we'll have to move it up. And because of the new information we have here, we need to discuss that. And Mr. McVeigh, I have a question for you. I believe we did this as we passed this sidewalk on a vote by the council.
Yes.
And so will we need to have a vote to change that?
You mean change the scope?
Or to cancel the project if we so?
I think so, since, I mean, the council voted to do the project,
Yes,
if I- to pursue the grant.
yes.
The council voted to pursue the grant, so that's where we are right now, is
Okay.
that we are pursuing the grant.
Okay, thank you. Well, we'll follow up with the street committee on that and go from there then. Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead, go ahead.
This grant, was it a matching grant or is it a 100% grant?
No, it's 80/20.
Okay.
I do have one question, just because I've had a lot of phone calls about it, and I'm still getting phone calls about it. So, how many people signed a petition that was against it the first time?
59, I read.
Okay, then they got 100 and some to sign it this time? Okay. So the people that's against it, do they just need to go see more people that's not directly affected by the sidewalk and get more people to sign this petition? I mean, is that what this is boiled down to, is a petition signing?
I don't view it that way, but I think that each member of the street committee should have a say, and we should discuss this. That's all I feel like we need to do at this point, is to discuss it, and to maybe have the answers for you that you're asking. It was a surprise to me to get this tonight, so I'd like to have a moment to discuss that with the street committee. We chose this route because the last thing we want is to make people mad. We don't view that as a sidewalk should be something to irritate people. I personally explained to the people that I thought that was the best thing to do, because after talking to the chief of police and doing some research on it, it directs the flow of traffic, which I think is very much needed in that area, rather than have people walking anywhere they want to walk. It would direct the flow of traffic. I've talked to, people that lived in that area that thought the same way, and others that didn't. But we came to that meeting with an open mind, and the vast majority of the people there did not want to see the sidewalk go in, and so that's what we agreed to at that point. And so I don't know that there's any change in the plan right now, but I think that I owe the street committee the opportunity to discuss that.
Yeah, I was just trying to get some kind of knowledge, because I know what's gonna happen when I leave here, and I know.
I'm gonna get calls too, and as of right now, it's not been changed as of right now.
That's why that was a public meeting.
Yes, that's exactly. We made that an open meeting, and this isn't the only time. Remember, we have done this, we've announced this, we voted on it. This was kept very public, what we were doing. And that's one of the frustrating parts of this, is that we kept this in public, we voted on this, we did everything that we were supposed to, and then at the 12th, the whatever, at the last moment, then we get that pulled out from underneath us. And so we just viewed this as one piece of the continuation of the project, and ultimate purpose was to be able to connect all the city parks, all the walking, hiking, biking trails, all that, to one massive trail that could be used. If you want to walk a mile, go to that park. If you want to walk 10 miles, go to all the parks. I mean, that type of stuff. And so that's what our plan was at that time.
And it is, in fact, for all the wards.
Yes.
I mean, if it's connecting, then
That's
it's
correct.
unified.
Can you go into now why the people are objecting to this thing? Is it the time to do that? Why there's so many?
If you would like, if that's okay with you, Mayor, go ahead and proceed. The final comment was, I'm sorry, are you okay with that? Terry?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's when you should do it.
Yeah, okay. The final comment was, they thought that it would bring their property values down. They felt like that it would encourage traffic in that area that would not be there otherwise. That was the biggest thing, that they feel like they have enough problem with people coming through the area that, example, come up and ask to borrow gasoline, things like that, that they have people walking into that area that don't belong in that area. and this would encourage it. And, like I said, the opposite view of that is, I felt like if we put the trail on the furthest, south side of it, it would, create a area for these people to walk that, did not cause, any problems, and it created a pathway, is what we were looking at. And so it's just a matter of, it's an opinion. Do you think this will increase your issues with vandalism, et cetera? Or do you think it will increase the flow of traffic in the correct manner? And that was truly what it boils down to. And it's like anything else, it is an opinion. I tried to base it more upon talking to the chief and things like that, but it's the way they felt.
Of course, a lot of those people at that meeting that night were people that lived exactly in that door to door to door in that area, and they were the ones that were opposed to it.
And that was kind of unique to me because I'd stopped at the very first house right there at the furthest east that our sidewalk would be and talked to that gentleman there, and it was, wow, this would help so much because instead of people being in my yard at 2 in the morning, they'd be over there on the sidewalk. And he was really enthused about it. So I was kind of surprised to see all the opposition. But,
Have they filed any reports of people being in their yard? Called the police and,
I couldn't tell you that.
because that's what they need to do if this is happening.
Well, and if people are not using, I mean, in my mind, if we had that sidewalk there and they weren't using the sidewalk, then that would be reason to be suspicious of them as well. But if they're on the sidewalk, they're doing what they should be doing. So, but the vast majority of the people that night, and like I said, not that this is the first time we haven't, that people have had the opportunity, but that was the way it worked out that night. And I know it's frustrating to a lot of people as well. Mr. Carter did a lot of work on it, and we thought it was very well out in the open. But I asked Mr. Carter not to be there the other night because I didn't want to make it something else. I wanted it to be just where people could speak their mind.
I have a question on this. Going forward, and I don't know what this project will become or not become, but from a city standpoint, are we better off if we withdraw our application or let the application go through? If it's granted, not use it?
I think we would be better to withdraw the application because I do not want them to have their budget set up and then find out later, oh, we have X amount of dollars left over now that we could have spent. I don't want to create that problem. And that's why I've asked Mr. Carter to find out when that meeting is so we can do it appropriately.
The monies involved in this grant can only be used for what we proposed?
Yes. And,
Cannot be used for normal sidewalks?
no,
No.
It's a lot.
it is
No.
a grant
It'll
specifically
turn
for,
in, play in pretty much where the sidewalk's gonna go,
Yeah, that was my
you
understanding.
know,
I was
go
making
back
sure
basically.
that it not
That's right.
changed.
I'd
it's
just
been
like
that.
I'd just like to not see this impact future applications that we may submit.
Right.
We
I'm
don't want to
afraid
be
it
on the
will, but-
blacklist and, oh yeah, those guys got money approved and never did use it, so.
Right, and that's what I don't want to have happen. It may adversely affect it anyway, but,
And they wouldn't connect.
hmm,
They wouldn't connect at that point because would we be able to get a grant to continue it in another section, but just that one
That's what-
section not have it?
I couldn't tell you that. It's,
The grant requires you have a constant connection. And you can't just go out here and stop in the middle of a block or something of that nature. Your funding has to work out to where you were going to a point. We were connecting from the existing walking trail to the community garden. We couldn't go a block farther, we couldn't stop a block back unless we wrote in a grant that we would fund that additional block. It's not it's a connecting
Right.
grant. It's called a transportation alternative grant is what it is, and it's for, I mean, we could put in a four-wheeler course from here to the floodway ditches. You know, I mean, it's that type of grant for that, but you have to go from point A to point B. You can't just say, well, we're gonna go as far as the money will go.
But does this grant particularly say we're going from Floyd Street across Commercial Street? Or
This
did they just say
particular
we'll be
grant,
going
that's what is,
connected?
that is what was submitted.
To
We have,
on the grant application, that particular route was submitted,
yes,
Yes.
in phase one, when we did this other, we put in that we were gonna do additional phases at that time.
right, but I mean, was that
Was that
particular route was what was
This
submitted
is
on the
only-
grant?
Yes,
And it can't be changed.
yeah, this is it.
Wasn't we also looking to go in the, I guess, the other direction as well?
Yes, we were gonna connect the sidewalk
Phase
at
3 or whatever.
at Floyd and Russell. We were gonna go a block east on Russell and then a block south on Riggs Street. And therefore, the walking trail would connect to Indian Park. With the plans for phase 3, if that would come about, then we would go from the north end of Indian Park down Floyd Street and connect to the highway ADA sidewalks there at Hardee's.
And then circle all the way back around to the community garden.
I mean, you know, that would be a loop. And, also in phase 3, we would go from the community garden north on Vandeventer to Willoughby Park. And there's a walking trail at Willoughby Park, and that would be a connection there. You could feasibly go from the ending of the new sidewalk at Taco Bell or wherever it is there, all the way to Willoughby Park on an ADA accessible walking surface.
Mr. Mayor, am I allowed to speak at this point as well? Okay. I'm Michelle Raspberry. I'm the executive director of the Caring Council, or in conjunction with Hillary. As far as this grant goes, we have signed on as a partner to support this grant. We are the umbrella agency that oversees the community garden, as well as the Willoughby School project that we have going that will eventually be a community center for that section of town, as well as Hillary's program in our office is also redoing all the park equipment at Willoughby Park. This grant, if it goes through, if the walking trail is a complete trail like it is proposed, will actually open our agency up to probably $200,000 in additional grants that we can get for the city for the betterment of the entire area. And one thing I had already started looking at, because it had been a concern about that was a dark area through there, is if we were able to apply for a grant that we could put solar light, the small, like probably 2.5, 3 feet tall light bars that are solar. So that would be a lighted path. That is something that our agency is already looking at doing, but it is contingent upon the grant going through. And again, it also, opens up right now with our 2 projects that we have, the community garden and the Willoughby School, eventually community center, probably $200,000 in grant money. I have heard from multiple people that live in Ward 2 mostly, but other folks that are concerned that they don't believe that the street committee meetings were properly publicized under the laws, under the rules of the Sunshine Law. I'm just telling you what the concern is. And that is why we felt that it was important for us to go ahead and talk to these folks and get their signatures, because, the folks that were there and the folks that signed that petition, it's 3 neighborhoods throughout our entire town. The walking trail will benefit our entire town, not just 3 neighborhoods.
And I mean, I haven't got any phone calls from anybody that's not directly affected from those 3 neighborhoods, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But every phone call I've gotten has come from those 3 neighborhoods, and, I mean,
But as far as us doing something wrong, how did everybody know to be here if we had that meeting? It was a public meeting.
It was a public meeting, and I agree, but the only people, if you look at those that attended, other than my staff that showed up, it was folks from those 3 neighborhoods.
I mean,
And I
it's
do
been
know-
announced in here and been in the newspaper, so I've been, I don't know.
I'm just
what
saying
else
by
we
the
can
letter
do.
of the
But I
law
think it's
of
not-
sunshine law.
It just
it's-
doesn't bother those people as much, one way or the other, whereas they had something they wanted to say, the people of Kennett weren't probably paying attention to it.
I
Right,
can only tell you that, whatever Mr. McVeigh tells me to do as far as the sunshine law, that's what I do.
You have to give public notice of any meeting, just like this meeting, or meeting of the Public Safety Committee, or any other meeting of any group of the city, you have to publish notice.
And
And it was on the lobby wall.
So,
Correct. I'm
I
just
don't
telling
know
you
how
the
else we can let more
concerns
people
that-
know about it.
I'm just telling you the concerns that have been addressed to me because they know that we were a partner in this, were a potential partner in this. And that's why it was very easy for me to get, and that was done in 2 days. I had enough folks call me with concern that in 2 days, I was, in fact, I will tell you, I've probably got another 25, 30 people who wanted to sign. I just did not have time to get to them and get their signatures on it. So,
Could you bring your list of benefits from your grant to the next hearing? So everybody that, even the ones that are opposed, that way they can hear both sides of it and make a little bit more informed opinion.
absolutely.
That might kind of help the process a little bit.
Okay.
Well, actually, the next meeting is gonna be, didn't you say that the grant meeting was December 16th, something like that?
I don't know when it is for sure. I was in conversations with MoDOT on 2 or 3 different things in the last week and this week. And 2 of the 3 people said that they had read the Kennett grant and that they thought that neither one of them are involved in the meeting. They thought the grant meeting would be next week, but the selection committee would be meeting next week. That's what they thought, so that's the reason I don't know when it might be. I didn't ask any questions on the date or anything else. So.
he's gonna let us know so we can be advised for our street committee meeting.
And I was at the street committee meeting and I did make the point that will open us up to $200,000 in potential grants to benefit the city at that meeting.